All right, let's talk about deadlines. You know, that one word that can either light a fire under you or just completely stress you out. Either way, we all deal with them, so knowing how to talk about them, yeah, that's pretty crucial.
I mean, who hasn't felt that, right? That little bit of panic when you look at the calendar and, oh boy, the clock is just ticking away and you've got this mountain of work staring back at you. It's a feeling we all know. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to give you the exact words you need to handle that race against time.
And look, we're not just going to throw a boring vocabulary list at you. No way. We're actually going to follow a team, kind of like a mini drama, as they try to get a big project done. We'll see them face all the usual bumps in the road, and along the way, we'll pick up all the essential phrases you need for every step of a project.
All right, so where does any project begin? It all starts with the plan. This first section is all about that, setting the plan. You gotta have a good one, right? This is where you figure out the rules, what you're actually trying to do, and most importantly, make sure everyone's on the same page from the get-go.
And the first most important word in any plan? Deadline. Seriously, everything circles back to this. Just think of it like the finish line in a race. It's that final date, that final time, when the work absolutely has to be finished. Period.
Okay, so how do you say a deadline is serious, like really serious? You use the word must. Like in this sentence, you must submit your reports on time. See how strong that is? Must means it's not a suggestion, it's a rule. It's super direct, super clear, no wiggle room.
But what about the opposite? Things you can't do. Now, this is where a lot of people get tripped up. The difference between mustn't and don't have to. They sound kind of the same, but they mean totally different things. You mustn't spend more than the budget. That's a red line. It's forbidden. Don't do it. But you don't have to spend all the budget. That just means it's not required. You can if you need to, but it's not necessary. Getting this right is a huge deal.
All right, so the plan is locked in. The team's off and running. Fast forward a bit, now we're deep into the project. It's that time. Time to check in and see how we're doing. This is Section 2, checking the status. So, when you check in on a project, it's really in one of three places. The dream scenario, you're ahead of schedule. You're flying, moving faster than you thought. Then there's on schedule, which is great. Everything's ticking along just as planned. And then, yep, you guessed it, the one nobody wants to hear. You're behind schedule.
So what does it sound like when you have to deliver that bad news? Imagine your boss asks, "So, are we going to hit that deadline?" And you have to say this, "I don't think so. We're already a month behind schedule." It's tough to say, but it's direct, it's honest, and it immediately tells everyone, "Houston, we have a problem." And as soon as you hear we're behind schedule, what's the very next thing you're going to ask? Exactly this. How far behind schedule are we, right? Because behind could mean anything. Is it a small problem or a huge one? Are we talking a few days late or a few months? You need the details.
The proper professional way to get those details, that's what a status report is for. Think of it like a doctor's report for your project. It tells you exactly what's going on, what's finished, what's still left to do, and it answers that big question, are we on track or not? It's the project's official health check. Okay, so the status report comes back and yikes, it's not good news. Our team is definitely behind. And now the heat is on. This is what we call crunch time. The race against the clock is real, and you'll notice the language starts to get a lot more intense.
The big word for this whole phase is urgent. When you hear that word, it means stop what you're doing. This is the most important thing right now. It jumps to the very top of the to-do list. It's a fire alarm for tasks.
So how do you tell someone a task is urgent? The most common way is with the acronym ASAP. You'll hear it pronounced ASAP or sometimes ASAP. It just means as soon as possible. You might also hear a manager say something like, the sooner, the better. They both have the same meaning. I need this, like, yesterday.
Now, when you're in a time crunch, little words make a huge difference. Let's talk about by and until. So simple, but so easy to mix up. If your boss says, I need that report by 9 a.m., that means 9 a.m. is the absolute latest. But if you have a meeting that lasts until 6 p.m., that means the meeting stops at 6 p.m. So think of it this way. By is the finish line, until is how long you're running.
Here's another word you'll hear all the time, due. This report is due tomorrow. It's just another way of saying the deadline is tomorrow. You've probably heard this in school, right? Homework is due, library books are due. In the office, it's reports, presentations, you name it. Super common word.
Okay, so after all that stress, all the planning, the status reports, the frantic ASAP emails, our team finally makes it to the end.
It's time to cross the finish line. And when you get here, really, there are only two ways it can go.
And here are your two options. Option A, the one we're all hoping for, you meet the deadline. Success. High fives all around. You did it on time. Option B, you miss the deadline. You finished late. In the world of projects, it's pretty black and white. You either hit it or you miss it.
But hang on a second. Is finishing on time the only thing that matters? Let's look at our team's final numbers. For their big event, they actually did it. They met the deadline. But look closer. They went over budget by $1,000. So they won the race against the clock, but they lost the battle with the budget. And this, my friends, is a classic dilemma.
Which leads us to the final, really tricky question. What's more important? Hitting that deadline no matter what it costs, or staying on budget, even if it means you're a little late? Honestly, there's no easy answer here. It's a balancing act that managers struggle with every single day. So I'll leave you with that to think about. What would you prioritize?